Welcome to the RSP NFL Lens. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Today we're going to take a look at a pair of newcomers to the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver core, Gabriel Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. Davis, the free agent out of Buffalo, and you're going to see him here in the slot. Wide open area to work into. We're going to talk about why he gets into that wide open area. Good attack of the ball, makes the catch, 20 yards on the play. Now, with Davis, one of the things that we need to understand about him, at least in his history as a Buffalo Bill, is that he did his best work there on schemed plays. And what I mean by a schemed play is a play where the team does a lot of the work to get the receiver open on the play, where he's not beating anybody man-to-man, one-on-one, or he's not working in a zone with tight windows where he has to do some manipulation to create some of that space. This is just a straight run, identify the depth of the safety, and settle in the open area. The bulk of the work on this play to create that opening is with the play action. You've got the quarterback under center. You see it's a stretch play. He works on his drop towards the left side. You got Bigsby heading downhill towards that left tackle, double team, with the guard and center here. And you have the defense flowing. The linebacker, who would normally be dropping into the area of the left flat, is actually climbing up to attack the gap for that play action. And until he notices that it's a play action play, but he's already taken some steps. So the defense include not just this linebacker, but the other two, the safety here and the linebacker here, they all flow towards that exchange point initially, and that creates this open void. You know what else creates this open void? His teammate, number 11, who works outside this outside shade defender to reinforce the positioning to guard the sideline, and that opens up enough space through this flat for Davis to operate with no problem and get pretty much the easy catch. I like the attack there. He usually has had problems with attacking the ball. This is a good attack of the ball at the earliest point. Makes the play. Now we're going to see some things where Brian Thomas offers a contrast to Gabriel Davis. This isn't necessarily one of them, but you are going to see that this play requires a little bit more savvy from a receiver, and this rookie shows that, and I like that about him right off the bat. I'm not comparing him to what Davis was like as a rookie. I'm just saying that compared to most rookies, Thomas is showing why that he may be even a little bit of a hidden gem in a class where at the top everyone's talking about the big three. And we'll show you why here with a couple of notes. First of all, what is this? This is a speed out, right? And it's against some zone coverage. Why is it zone coverage? Well, looking at it pre-snap, you're going to see that this defender's playing an outside shade. Generally, that's a zone coverage. But Thomas knows that this is the primary man he's going to be running the route against. So, with a high safety playing outside shade here, he's working this speed out. And he does a good job here with the plant step, but then that instep to break back towards the ball. Notice how he breaks back towards the ball and the quarterback on this route. A lot of that has to do with the instep. Right there. That instep is what gets him, that foot points a little bit more back towards the quarterback. And note how he gets the head around. He knows that the defensive back is playing outside shade on him. He knows that there's a lot of cushion, so he thinks he's probably going to be that first read. So he's getting the head around quickly, knowing the ball is probably in the air as he makes the play, and that's the case. Maybe the attack could be a little better initially, is looking for it to be a low throw, but he corrects his hands enough to get it a little bit higher. It's close to his chest, but it's a clean catch. But what I love here is a couple of steps, and then he just turns inside and splits the defenders for another 5. That is a veteran play. It's a catch and pierce. A lot of receivers with good yak ability in college try to square up defenders and make a move or don't know where to turn. But he understands on this route that there's going to probably be a trail defender on the inside, and there's going to be his over top defender on the outside and likely coming downhill towards his outside shoulder. So he's already anticipating what he should do by making the catch, taking a couple steps, and then turning inside quickly, very sudden turn, and piercing downhill. That is a well-known technique. Good play. Now this play by Thomas goes for a touchdown. You're going to see him also inside on this play, and he's running a zone. It's an over route. And, this is thrown with good anticipation. It's a longer developing route. This is, nothing amazing in terms of what Trevor Lawrence is doing here. I mean, it's a good throw. It's under pressure, and he knows he's got to let this ball go early. But this is also the type of play that you'd see Seattle use a lot with Russell Wilson, where you've got a longer developing route crossing the field into the corner, back into the end zone. Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin, Paul Richardson, they ran it all the time in Pete Carroll's Seattle offenses. What I like about this play is how Brian Thomas shows some manipulation techniques as a route runner. Number 11's dropping into the flat here, and he stems this route. What that means is that the stem is the initial part off the line between the release. This is the initial release. Then the stem is usually the part between that point out of the initial release and the actual break. And the stem is where you tell most of your story as a receiver. And so that depends on the defender. He's going to attack number 11. So what he does is, instead of working into the defender, he flattens it out as if he's going to go up the seam, forcing the defender to widen here a little bit more to that outside. And when they get close enough, he takes the back of the defender, whose hips are now turned downhill. And he manipulated that. Now, this defender's just covering this area, but it still widens him out. So there's an opportunity here to be able to work across. And if this defender gives chase, the defender's already been separated on enough that the defender's not going to catch him. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So widening number 11 and showing the eyes there. See how he shows the eyes downhill and then a little nod to the right side and then crosses the back. That gives him separation. And then he makes a smooth catch. Good boundary awareness on the play. Let's take a look at it one more time here. See that? Comes into the play. Hands are high. Tries to attack at the highest point there over the shoulder. 1 foot down. Drags the second one in. Nice play. Another bit of route running magic here by Brian Thomas. I mean, it's not, unbelievable prestidigitation, but, it's a good route for a rookie facing essentially a zone coverage, an outside shade man who he knows that he's going to be settling underneath. And that man's playing outside shade. You watch him here do a good job with the stem of running towards the defender late, as if he's going to take the defender's back. You notice that? The defender has his, was facing towards the inside because Thomas was heading downhill to the inside. So the defender now turns to run. When he turns to the hips, watch Thomas manipulate. Breaks towards that outside, takes the back, goes into the back of the defender. That forces the defender to have to turn his hips again or back up and widen out. And now he's out of control because he's not really turning and running downhill. He's having to try and back away and change his footing in an awkward way like that and click his heels together. Now he's slowed down, and Thomas is now able to just break this route off and turn in and settle, and he's got the separation, and he makes the catch on a low throw here on a 3rd and 11 for a first down. So, again, good storytelling by the rookie, good understanding of the position of the defender and knowing how to manipulate him in a short space, and a good catch to dig out that throw. Very well. In contrast, Gabriel Davis. Here he is, inside receiver on the left side of this twin set. You got a blitzer, number 4, coming in here. That leaves a pretty big opening in this triangle of defenders. He works basically straight downhill and benefits from his teammate, Christian Kirk, breaking off this route underneath where the underneath defender is going to break away, and he just settles underneath that zone, comes back to the ball a little bit, makes the catch, good turn upfield. Nice job of being able to get some extra yards. Now, when I say good turn upfield, let's see. I would probably like to see him continue downhill here, but he thinks he can probably undercut this defender. He has no blockers here other than maybe this guy at the boundary who's far away from the two pursuit angles here, where he thinks maybe he can turn and outrun all these guys. I think that's a little ambitious. I would like to see him instead get the most he can and hit this downhill. Maybe he can break a tackle with this momentum and get a lot more. But he invites this defender back into the, well, he doesn't really invite him back into the play, but he gives these defenders a better chance to be able to wrap him up, which they do immediately upon contact. I think he probably gets more if he heads downhill. He at least gets to, I bet, the 38 on this play. And I think the max what he was going to get was to the 38. So, again, probably not the wisest course there. But again, most of this was schemed up for him. No real route nuance here needed. Just catch and do what you can as a runner. Here's the one man-to-man route up top for Gabriel Davis. You see he does a, let's see what his first release is here. Gives, maybe a couple of steps inside, a little double up to the inside. Not a lot of drama with that double up. I'd like to see him maybe have a little more patience and suddenness with that double up, but he gets outside with it. He uses the shed against the defender's hands. He's a powerful receiver. So that shed helps him get through the hands and get to the outside, and he's able to show some of that build-up speed that he has to get that defender to be occupied about the vertical route, and then he's able to break down quickly, get good separation, make the play. 22 yards on the play. But, the release, it's solid. It's not masterful. You get 1, 2 right there, those 2 steps, but there's no real, pace variation with it. It's just brute force and speed. Good play, though. I think overall what you're going to see here is that both players are obviously going to have their place in this passing offense, and they are going to help Trevor Lawrence out and the Jaguars out a fair bit with the tools that they bring. But I think you can see how Brian Thomas is closer to becoming a primary option or top 2 option, even if Gabriel Davis got more targets and led the team in yardage. We know that Christian Kirk's going to get his in this offense. He's the most versatile option in this offense, and it's the one that the Dolphins were probably most worried about dealing with. Whereas I think when you look at, Davis, certainly teams were occupied with him too, and you can see the safety over top being occupied with him underneath. And that led to Thomas being able to work behind him for this score. But you're going to see that Thomas is already more of a storyteller. And I think that that's the point that you want to keep in mind, is that the nuances of his game are on display a little bit more in the way that, and it's demanded from him in Jacksonville more than what they're going to demand of Gabriel Davis. They see Davis as a specific tool for the passing game, whereas I think they see Thomas is more of a guy who can be an architect, and that's the difference. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room, YouTube, NFL Room type of videos that I do, I've done so many of them. I've done nearly 800 of these things. You can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Forum Room. Thanks again for watching. Take care.